Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've learned something working with Scars Publications and two literary magazines. I get a lot of poetry from CC&D magazine. I get long stories as well. But I was getting a lot of writing for the second magazine, which used to be a supplement to CC&D called Down in the Dirt. So I gave word limits because I'm not taking novels from people when I've got so many pieces of writing from so many people that want to be in something called Down in the Dirt. So after I've done things for years, like a poetry date book for Scars Publications, I thought, let me see if I could try to find really short pieces of prose and put them into a date book, which people have raved about. It's very similarly themed to the poetry one. This is a 2020 flash fiction date book. As you can see, they are different colors of the same image. But this one, some even has pages that are 2 pages long, so you have to go from one week to the next just to get the full story. Or there might be room for tiny little segments in there as well. So I've got a bunch of little pieces that are throughout this book that you can check out. And if you want to know anything about the writings, you can go to the main page at Scars Publications, scars.tv, and there's a link to it on the main page right there. It's available through Amazon, and I think it's worth checking out because these are the books that I sit there and go through and use as my own calendar books for the entire year. So I keep these old worn calendar books that I've written on in my library as something worth saving. So I hope you guys like them. I hope you guys like the library space because I figured if I can't do this open mic at Recycled Reads in amongst a bunch of books, I might as well put you in a library space at my own home. I also felt bad that we can't even get out of the house to go to art galleries. You know, I want to go to the Museum of Art somewhere, the Museum of Contemporary Art somewhere. And I thought, well, we're not able to do that. If I've got some pieces that are, you know, scans on my computer, maybe I can put them on a photo frame that's rotating. And that's why back here, hey, I now see, you know, I'll have different pieces from throughout history, from, you know, from classical eras to Impressionist paintings to Picasso to him over here. Yeah. I don't have the banana one on there, I don't think. Although I think I've got Marilyn Monroe a lot from him. But anyway, it's got a bunch of pieces. It's got Salvador Dali. It's got Pollock. Anyway, I just thought I'd put some artwork up so you can have some rotating artwork. So in case the poetry's not interesting enough, you could have some artwork as well. I should wave to new readers or new watchers as they're coming in. Hi there. I hope all is well with you and you're staying safe. And I was going to read very, very micro pieces of prose that appear throughout this flash fiction date book for 2020, available from Scars Publications. This first one is actually called Genesis 28. It's actually Genesis 28. Ready? I think, should I do this here? In homage to Tom Woodruff, whom I don't get to see, who used to always bring like 1 billion pairs of reading glasses around. I would take his glasses, different ones, because they'd be in different colors. And I'd put them on, be like, how do I look? How do I look? And so I thought I would bum a pair that my husband has, and I'm keeping them low so I can still see because I can't really see well when looking through them, but I thought I would do that in honor of Tom. Anywho, we'll see how this works, if I can pull this off. This is a short one that is in February, in this date book, called Genesis 28. I had a dream the other night that there was a ladder here on earth which led to heaven. God and angels descended it. I could climb it and be one with God. What a splendid idea, I thought. Then I woke because I believe my dream was telling me that heaven is also on earth. So I'll make changes here to make it so. Which is what a lot of people who work for change do, and I think that's commendable and a great idea. There are a number of pieces that are in this book that are from a performance art show called Death Comes in Threes, that talks about something very, very potentially life-threatening happening to someone. So these are a few of them, and this is one of them, called In Every Car Accident There Are Actually 3 Crashes. In every car accident there are actually 3 crashes. The first is when one car, hits another one. The second is when the outside of the human body hits the interior of the car. The third is when, within the human body, organs crash into one another and crash into your own bones. You never think about that. Sorry, you don't. You know, really. So it's fascinating to think of that way. This one is in the beginning of June, and it's a tiny little space. So there's room for a little haiku, just to cram one in there. And it's called Knees. Bring me to my knees. Make me shake in fear of you. Force me to break down. Fascinating. We'll skip ahead a month, and there are two on one page that relate to that Death Comes in Threes show that was in Chicago years ago. Probably 17 years ago at this point in the game, right? This one's called Fences and Straitjackets. So, as I start to regain consciousness, I'm stuck in there at Christ Hospital, and I want to get out. I remember one of the first chances I had to leave. I was lying in bed. They expected me to sleep there. I was probably barely conscious. I doubt I could even stand, but I tried to get out of bed, and I fell out of bed, and the nurses had to come and get me, and they had to call my parents. I was fine, but it was their policy to call. But because they were afraid of me falling again, they put a metal bar around the side of my bed. I don't know, it was like it was a guardrail to keep pedestrians away from something dangerous, or a zoo fence so that people could feel safe while they watched the trapped animals they have on display for you. So they had this metal rail around my bed, but that wasn't the worst part. They also put a harness on me at night, a straitjacket, so to speak. Probably so that I wouldn't be able to use my arms to help me leave. They kept a wristband with my stats on it, on my wrist, so that if I ever wandered off, they'd know where I belonged to keep me in place. I hated that damn wristband, and I'd rip it off probably almost daily, so they had to make a new one for me and strap it on me. You know, to know where I belong. Here's a shorter follow-up to that piece that is right on this page. That's called Wrapping Up the Harness. I don't know why they had to keep me in a straitjacket. I mean, a harness on me. Were they trying to keep me in place? Once I regained enough of my consciousness back, and all I could wonder was, is this how they were trying to keep me and to stop me? I just wanted to be able to sleep the night through without being restricted, without having my arms being bound. I finally managed to contort myself out of it one night, not so that I could escape, just so that I could feel comfortable, feel more sane in this place. The next morning, the nurses didn't know why the harness was wrapped up right next to my nightstand. My mother saw it wrapped there and knew that I had to have done that, and she had to think that if I was that cunning enough, I must be getting better. Bold ones, hi there, and for new readers coming in, hello. I'm going to give you away for that one. These are pieces that are short pieces of prose that fit into the Scars Publications 2020 Flash Fiction Datebook. Scars Publications annually does a poetry datebook, but because, here's the poetry datebook, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, poetry, yay. And I've already read from that guy, but I figured I had a lot of people that wrote short pieces of prose, so I put that together. And oftentimes, pages for a calendar would have prose on it that is actually, they allow up to probably 2 pages to fit in this thing. And then you have a calendar week on the other side. And sometimes there'd be a tiny little bit of space and I could put a piece of micro prose in there. So those are the kind of things I'm reading for you right now from there. This first one is called Elvira Doe. Elvira Doe. Shortly after I regained consciousness, my family told me they were slightly concerned for 2 reasons. One was that since they couldn't find my identification on me when I was first brought in, they, instead of calling me Jane Doe, they nicknamed me Elvira Doe. The second thing they noticed was that the people in the hospital handed back all of my dirty, disheveled, ripped up, torn up clothes, and the only thing that was missing was a bra. Those are little bits of prose that are in here. That was actually from July in the prose date book. And hello to new people that are coming in to hear this live. I am recording this live so that I can do a Facebook stream, but I'm also doing it on video so that people might not see videos of me and all of my type backwards. It says poet, but it's backwards. Sorry, people. I can't really help but with that for the live feeds. In September, I've got a piece in here called Every Step, and it's even got a little picture that goes with it that was done up in Instagram, and it's called Every Step. I looked at my health app on my smartphone, and it told me that every step I took wasn't a healthy one. As I said, strange little pieces that are in here. I think I'm gonna just read 2 more for you from this flash fiction just because they're just bits and phrases, you know, almost like haikus. They're just that short. This one is for January 2021, and it is also from the Death Comes in 3 series, and it's just something that tiny on a page. It's really tiny for you, and it's called Death Comes in Waves of 3s. Have you ever heard people say that death usually comes in 3s? It's a strange thing to say, but when something terrible happens like that, you can almost expect over a short time that these waves of death can come in 3s. Almost to make sure you get the point. You know, for that I have to end on a happier note in this tiny bit of piece in the last bit of space in the book. There's actually a poem in this flash fiction thing, and it's called Poem About This. A poet walks into a coffee shop, sees a rabbi, a father, and a mom, and the poet thinks, I should write a poem about this. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, those were select pieces. I had to pick really, really short ones that are within the flash fiction date book from Scars Publications. If you'd like to know anything about it, you can go to scars.tv and find details. There's a web page for it and an Amazon page for it if you'd like to buy a copy, because these things are really handy. And every time I go through a year and I put another one of these in the library space, it's always marked with all of the events that I've been saving. Oh, remember delivery today, and all the things that are in it, because it's a useful, handy thing to have around. I hope you've enjoyed the reading so far. I'm going to keep reading, but I'll just find another book for you. So be prepared to come back in just a minute with another live feed. And thank you, and stay safe and remain poetic, you guys. Thanks.